The flashing lights and cacophony of bells were almost overwhelming, even for someone like me who frequented the Silver Dollar Casino more often than he probably should. But today, the noise was music. A choir of digital angels announcing my good fortune. $107,342. The numbers burned brightly on the slot machine screen, a confirmation of what my brain was still struggling to process. John Carter, a man usually content with small wins and the occasional free buffet, had just hit the jackpot. A wave of euphoria washed over me. Years of pinching pennies, of working overtime at the auto shop, of holding back on vacations and new clothes, it all seemed to blur in the face of this sudden windfall. I felt a hand clap me on the back. Congratulations, man. You deserve it. It was a fellow gambler, a regular I recognized but didn't know by name. Soon, a small crowd gathered, offering their congratulations, their eyes wide with a mixture of envy and genuine happiness. I soaked it all in, basking in the glow of unexpected success. After what felt like an eternity of handshakes and backpats, I finally managed to extract myself from the celebratory throng. Clutching the printed ticket to my chest like it was the Hope Diamond, I started making my way toward the cashier cage. My mind was already racing with possibilities. Paying off the mortgage, a down payment on a small condo in Florida, maybe even a brand-new cherry red convertible. The possibilities seemed endless. It felt liberating, like a weight had been lifted from my shoulders. But the universe, it seems, has a way of throwing curveballs. As I approached the cashier, a woman materialized in front of me, blocking my path. She was an older woman, probably in her late 50s or early 60s, with a perfectly coiffed blonde bob and a face that looked like it had been permanently set in a deep frown. Her eyes, a pale, piercing blue, were fixed on the ticket in my hand. I automatically tensed, a primal instinct screaming at me that something was about to go horribly wrong. I stepped aside slightly, hoping to simply walk past her, but she mirrored my movement, blocking me again. A knot of unease tightened in my stomach. I had a bad feeling about this. "Excuse me," I said politely, trying to keep my voice even. "I need to cash this ticket." The woman's lips curled into a sneer. "That ticket belongs to me. You need to hand it over." I blinked, momentarily stunned by the absurdity of her statement. I looked around, half expecting to see hidden cameras or someone jumping out with a microphone, announcing that this was some kind of prank. But the faces around me were just filled with curiosity, their celebratory expressions slowly morphing into confusion. "I'm sorry, I think you have me confused," I replied, managing to maintain a semblance of composure. "I won this jackpot. I was right there when the machine hit." I even gestured back towards the flashing slot machine, hoping the visual confirmation would dissuade her. Her eyes narrowed. "Don't play dumb with me. I saw you steal that ticket. It was mine, and you took it." Her voice was rising in pitch, attracting more attention. I could feel the nervous energy radiating off her. I chuckled, a nervous, involuntary sound. "Ma'am, I assure you, I didn't steal anything. I've been playing that machine for the past hour. I even have witnesses." I gestured towards the small crowd that had gathered earlier, many of whom were now watching the unfolding scene with increasing bewilderment. I could see a security guard starting to make his way towards us. "Liar," she shrieked, her voice now piercingly loud. "You're a thief. That's my money. I was just about to hit the button, and you swooped in and stole the win." I shook my head, completely bewildered. "That's not how any of this works," I said, trying to reason with her. "I can show you my player card, the timestamp on the ticket, anything to prove that I won fair and square." She ignored me, her face flushed with anger. "I'm calling the police," she declared, pulling out her phone with a dramatic flourish. "I'm calling the police, and you're going to jail for stealing my jackpot." I stared at her in disbelief. Was she serious? This had to be some kind of elaborate joke. But the look on her face was anything but jovial. She was genuinely convinced that I had stolen her winning ticket. I sighed, realizing that this was going to be a long and frustrating day. I just hoped that the casino security would be able to sort this out quickly. The thought of having to deal with the police over something so ridiculous filled me with dread. "Go ahead and call them," I said, my voice finally betraying a hint of exasperation. "The security cameras will show exactly what happened." "I have nothing to hide." She glared at me as she dialed 911, her voice trembling with indignation as she reported the alleged theft. "I'm at the Silver Dollar Casino. This man stole my jackpot ticket. He's trying to cash it in right now. I need the police here immediately." Her words dripped with venom, and I could feel the eyes of everyone in the vicinity boring into me. I tried to ignore the stares, focusing on staying calm and collected. The security guard, a young man named Kevin, finally reached us. He looked concerned, his eyes darting between me and the woman. "Is there a problem here?" he asked, his voice carefully neutral. "This man stole my winning ticket," the woman shrieked, pointing a finger at me. "He's trying to cash it in like it's his." Kevin turned to me, his expression questioning. "Sir, can you explain what's going on?" I sighed, running a hand through my hair. "This woman is accusing me of stealing her jackpot ticket. I want it fair and square. I was playing that slot machine over there for the past hour. There are witnesses, and the security cameras will confirm everything." Kevin nodded, his gaze shifting back to the woman. "Ma'am, we have security cameras covering the entire casino floor. We can easily review the footage to determine what happened." "I don't care about your cameras," she retorted, her voice shrill. "I'm telling you, he stole my ticket. He's a thief." Just then, 2 police officers arrived, their presence immediately drawing even more attention. The woman practically lunged at them, her voice rising to a fever pitch. "Officer, this man stole my jackpot ticket. He's trying to cash it in right now. You have to arrest him." The officers looked at me, then at the woman, their expressions wary. "Ma'am, please calm down," one of the officers said, his voice firm but polite. "We need to hear both sides of the story." I stepped forward, trying to project an aura of calm and cooperation. "Officer, this woman is mistaken. I won the jackpot on that slot machine over there. I have the winning ticket, and there are witnesses who saw me playing the machine." I gestured to Kevin, the security guard, who nodded in confirmation. The officers exchanged a look, then turned to Kevin. "Can you verify this man's story?" one of them asked. Kevin nodded. "Yes, sir. We have security footage of the entire incident. I can take you to the security room and show you the video." The woman sputtered, her face turning an even brighter shade of red. "Don't listen to him. He's probably in on it. They're all trying to protect him." The officers ignored her outburst and turned back to me. "Sir, if you'll come with us and Mr. Kevin to the security room, we can get this cleared up." I readily agreed, relieved that the situation was finally moving towards a resolution. As we walked towards the security room, I couldn't help but feel a sense of injustice. How dare this woman accuse me of stealing something I had rightfully won? The audacity! We entered the dimly lit security room, where several monitors displayed a mosaic of images from the casino's numerous security cameras. Kevin quickly located the footage from the camera that covered the slot machine I had been playing. The officers watched intently as the video played, showing me sitting at the machine, inserting money, spinning the reels, and then finally, the moment of truth, the flashing lights, and the jackpot announcement. The video clearly showed me reacting with surprise and joy, surrounded by other gamblers offering their congratulations. The officers rewound the footage and played it again, paying close attention to the timestamps and the positioning of the cameras. There was absolutely no doubt that I was the one who had won the jackpot. The woman's claims were completely unfounded. After watching the footage, the officers turned to me, their expressions apologetic. "Sir, it's clear that you are the rightful winner of the jackpot. We apologize for the inconvenience." I nodded, feeling a wave of relief wash over me. "Thank you, officers. I appreciate you taking the time to investigate." One of the officers turned to Kevin. "Can you make a copy of this footage for our records?" Kevin nodded. "Of course, officer." We emerged from the security room, and the woman was still standing there, her arms crossed, her face a mask of stubborn defiance. The officers approached her, their expressions stern. "Ma'am," one of the officers said, "we have reviewed the security footage, and it clearly shows that this man is the rightful winner of the jackpot. Your claims are unfounded." The woman's face crumpled in disbelief. "What? That's impossible. He stole it from me. I was about to win." The officers sighed. "Ma'am, the footage doesn't lie. You were not even near the machine when the jackpot was won. We have to ask you to leave the casino." The woman's eyes narrowed, and her voice rose in pitch once again. "This is a conspiracy. You're all against me. You're protecting him because She trailed off, her face contorting with rage. Because he's black. The air crackled with tension. The casino floor went silent, every eye fixed on the unfolding drama. I felt a surge of anger rise within me. This had gone far beyond simple misunderstanding. She was resorting to blatant racism to justify her delusional claims. The officers looked at each other, their expressions hardening. "Ma'am, that's enough," one of them said, his voice firm. "You're making a false accusation, and now you are making racist remarks. You are going to be arrested for disturbing the peace." The woman snapped. "You can't arrest me. I'm a taxpayer. I have rights." She lunged at the officer, swinging her purse wildly. The officer sidestepped the blow and reached for his taser. "Ma'am, calm down. You are assaulting a police officer." But the woman was beyond reason. She continued to scream and flail, kicking and punching at the officers. The other officer quickly moved in to assist his partner. The officer struggled to restrain the woman, but she was putting up a fierce fight. Finally, one of the officers deployed his taser. The woman screamed as the electricity coursed through her body, causing her to collapse to the floor. The officers quickly handcuffed her and helped her to her feet. She was still screaming and cursing, but her resistance had been broken. They escorted her out of the casino, her tirade echoing through the otherwise silent room. The crowd that had gathered around us slowly dispersed, murmuring amongst themselves. I stood there for a moment, stunned by the events that had just transpired. The woman had been completely unhinged, her behavior fueled by a combination of delusion, entitlement, and blatant racism. Kevin, the security guard, approached me, his face etched with concern. "Mr. Carter, are you okay? I'm so sorry you had to go through that." I managed a weak smile. "I'm fine, Kevin. Thanks for your help." He nodded. "Of course, sir. Is there anything else I can do?" "Just point me towards the cashier," I said, my voice still a little shaky. "I think I'm finally ready to cash this ticket." Kevin led me to the cashier cage, where I finally presented my winning ticket. The cashier processed the transaction, and soon a stack of crisp $100 bills was placed in front of me. It was real. It was finally real. As I walked out of the Silver Dollar Casino, clutching my winnings, I couldn't help but feel a mix of emotions. Relief, joy, and a lingering sense of anger and disbelief at what had just happened. The encounter with the woman, Karen, as I later learned some people called women like her, had been a stark reminder of the prejudices that still existed in the world. But despite the negativity, I refused to let her ruin my moment of triumph. I had won the jackpot fair and square, and I was going to enjoy every penny of it. I would use the money wisely, pay off my debts, and maybe even splurge on that convertible. And every time I drove that car, I would remember this day and the lesson I had learned, that no amount of hate and bigotry could ever take away what was rightfully mine.